Hi everybody, how are you? I am not taking my hoodies off. I went over to get gas at the big C across the street. That would be Costco. And there was no line because nobody was outside getting gas. I feel like a genius for going when I did because I got in, got out fast, came back over here. But I'm pumping that gas and that wind cutting right through me. I turned my back, I put my hood up, and I was like, just finished filling the tank. And of course, I went over there when I was on fumes. And just an FYI though, with the really cold temperatures in play today, not so much during the day, but at night, you might want, if you have a low level on your gas in your car, it's always good to have a half a tank of gas or more in your car on really cold nights. The last thing you ever want to have happen is your gas line to freeze. I have enough trouble with my gas line. Once my tank gets to half full, it stops registering the gas, and I have to take a guess at where I'm at. But just something to keep in mind. Also, for those of you with temperatures dropping, your PSI, if your car sits in the driveway like all day and all night, probably will need to get air tomorrow. Pipes, you should be dripping. I know the sun's out today, and usually I always say that you probably don't need to drip when the sun's out if you have a crawl space, but I'm dripping just because I'm moving and I don't want any burst pipes. So I'm out of an abundance of caution, I'm dripping all day. You may definitely want to drip your faucets tonight, and you'll probably want to drip them again Monday night. And then pets should come inside too. But other than that, common sense with cold weather. If you don't like the cold, stay inside and have soup and watch football. Or don't watch football, watch Hallmark. If you don't like Hallmark or that, watch, Game Show Network. Whatever you want to watch. The bottom line is for some, it doesn't really affect you. You go outside and you do your thing. And for others, you just, hibernate inside. But one thing I think we can all agree on is that it's amazing that you can go from 60s on Saturday and have like a spring-like feel and then crash and burn to 20s by the time we're talking here on Weather Extra at 8:22 a.m. And there are some areas even colder than that. I got the 22 there in Athens. Was it 25? 25 in Athens. But it's even colder elsewhere. So let's take a little tour. Lots of sunshine today, though. I mentioned last night on air at 5 and 6. Deceiving sun, though. Like you're inside, look out the window, you see the sun, you're like, yay. And then you go outside, you're like, oh, very cold stuff. Where are we at, Shoals? I think it says 25. I don't have my glasses on, everybody, so bear with me. But that's what I'm talking about. See the colder air? So when I came to work I got here about like 2:45, okay? There were almost all 30s, and everybody was above freezing, like south of the river. But waking up, when we went on air at 5 a.m., the temperatures were like around 30 degrees. I'm like, that's not bad. I'm trying to tell everybody at home, when you're going to notice the difference, wasn't when you woke up or waking up this morning. It's that it's a persistent cold all day. So we have some areas in the teens now. Everybody's in the 20s. You probably, what time is it? 8:30, 8:20. So what's going to probably happen is you probably will lose a degree or two in the next hour, and then you're going to go up like 3 degrees in the afternoon. So that should keep just about everybody in the 20s. There may be an area like believe it or not, Fort Payne may actually hit 30 in the afternoon again, but most of us are staying in the 20s. And where you're in the teens now in Middle Tennessee, you will likely get back to the 20s. It's all cold though. I don't know why I'm spending so much time on this. It's just cold, and the winds are howling. Showing the cameras this morning on air, they were like doing the shimmy, man. It was crazy. The Huntsville camera, which usually takes a pretty good gust to move it around, it was shaking like it wasn't even playing games, like it was all done. Even the Decatur camera, which is stabilized really well, even when we have severe thunderstorms, it doesn't move much. It was moving today. So the gust, 30, 35 earlier this morning. The winds will back off after midnight tonight, but until then, pretty gusty, and that's going to drop your wind chill values all day long. The current feel-like temperatures, there's some single digits mixed in there, teens. So yeah, cold stuff, Captain Obvious. Cold weather alert. Somebody asked me a great question this morning. So all the counties in light blue from 6 p.m. Sunday to 6 a.m. Monday, but I'm not making 6,000 graphics for these cold weather alerts. So what happens is Middle Tennessee, you are already in the cold weather alert. North Alabama, you're in it tonight. Bottom line is we're all cold. What does a cold weather alert mean? In 2024, I think it was September, October, they decided to do away with the wind chill advisory, and they call it a cold weather alert now, or cold weather advisory. It just means it's going to be cold, and the threshold for those dangerous wind chill values is what this is supposed to cover. And they do a great job, the National Weather Service, to alert people that not only is it cold this morning, but through tonight into tomorrow, so at the bus stop or on your way to work on Monday morning, it will be pretty brutal for sure. There's your frontal boundary. Continuing to move on out. And as it moves south, it brought a little rain, actually brought some rain to our area yesterday evening, but that front's out of here now. And now the clouds are breaking up, and that's why it's plenty of sunshine. The cold air is filtered in. Last night we had some light rain showers. They raced through the area. Some areas got wet. And many of you had already talked to me about this, but you were writing, I'm getting rain now. I'm really worried about ice. We had so much time once the rain stopped to not only dry things out, but also we had the winds picking up, and the winds will actually dry the roads faster. And the really cold below freezing stuff wasn't going to get here until many hours after the rain stopped. So I had talked about it on air Wednesday and Thursday. I wanted to keep an eye on it to see if we were going to have some icy issues. But because there was so much lag time behind the Arctic blast and the rain, it dried out. So there was no issues with any kind of ice this morning, thankfully. It was just really cold waking up this morning. So we have a 48 first alert weather day for today. Obviously, not just for the cold temperatures, that's an obvious thing, but the change in temperature. Hitting 60 Friday, 60 Saturday, and then bam, 20s today. That's a huge drop. Tough on the body, too. Speaking of tough on the body, the Rocket City Marathon's taking place as we speak. The runners, they're diehards. I get it. Bless their hearts. But, yeah, that's cold. I remember I would run like when I was a kid and a long time ago. I don't run now. I'm too old. But that cold air gets in your chest, man. It can just get you. But anyway, there's your winds. There's your temperatures. There's your sunshine. And even though the winds will back off after midnight tonight, there'll still be a little wind. And when your temperature is at 18 at 9 p.m. and eventually falling back, I got 14 for the low, I think. What did I do, 14? So that's going to make your single-digit wind chill values like 5 to 10 above as we go into tomorrow morning. And there'll be some areas, if you keep just a little wind overnight, you could easily have a wind chill value like near zero. Like it's going to be really cold. Okay, we got that cold. Now, what happens for the rest of the week? Not too bad. 48 first alert weather day has been extended through Monday morning, and then Eric Burke will be here, and he'll probably shut it down by about 10 a.m. Just trying to let you know that we had a 48 first alert weather day for Sunday, and you'd think that that would cover Sunday night, but it technically doesn't, because at midnight it turns into Monday. So what we did was we added a 48 first alert weather day for like Monday morning, pretty much. I don't know if we'll keep it in the afternoon on Monday. 40-degree temperatures and sunny, I don't know, but we might. But nonetheless, we're trying to cover it for the morning so that you know that when you're getting your day started on Monday, it's going to be really cold. And then very chilly again Monday night, low to mid-20s, nothing out of the ordinary though, not like the 14 tonight. And then 50 Tuesday, 57 Wednesday, 62 Thursday hike, and moderating temperatures. That Thursday is not like a severe weather day, but it does look like some pockets of heavy rain, and there could be some rumbles of thunder, but it looks like the highest chance for any kind of stronger storms will be to our north. We've got to keep an eye on Thursday. And then there's a little dip Friday, and then you're right back up there again on Saturday and Sunday. And long-term forecast models say what it is. You know, some people think we can't get the next day right. So that next Tuesday is the 24th, I do believe. The long-term forecast models, not only does it keep us mild towards the back end of the 10-day, but it takes the mild temperatures right into Christmas Day, and also takes the mild temperatures pretty much out to the rest of the year. I think there's a little hiccup on like the 29th and 30th. But nonetheless, this shot of really cold Arctic air, it's really cold, but it doesn't look like it's going to stick around for very long, and it looks like it's the exception rather than the rule for the rest of the month. So, chilly, chilly, chilly stuff. Hi, D.O. from PC. Good to see you. Hope all is well. I'm going to pull up the 10 days so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, everybody. There you go. Stan Barbie, good morning, Jeff Desnoyers. Have a blessed day. You do the same, my friend. You do the same. Huh. Interesting. Good to see you on, Donna. Good to see you on, Stan. And a lot of eyeballs yesterday watching this, and a lot of eyeballs today, too. Appreciate that. A lot of people watch these weather extras after they're on the Facebook page, too. And if something comes up and you're watching it and you say, hey, I want to ask that Desnoyers kid a question, send me my message. Go to my Facebook page. Just message me. You know, pretty straightforward forecast, but I've had people write me and they're like, hey, you know, when's the first day of snow going to happen? Or how much snow do we normally get in Alabama? And I get a lot of questions like that. Those are great questions. That means you're thinking about weather. I love that. Thinking about weather, that's good. We like you to think about weather. Weather's fun. It's always good stuff. I'm a big fan of that. All right, so got a big day today. I got to stay warm. I might make some homemade soup. I don't know. Let's see what happens. See how excited I am. I got to pack today, too. I told everybody. I'm moving, not out of the area. So some of you probably want me to, but I'm not. I'm sticking around. Moving from one area of Huntsville to another area of Huntsville. And starting the packing job today. If you're in the Guntersville area, I'll probably be down in, I'm going to go probably spend the afternoon in City Harbor. I feel like going to Guntersville. I saw the boats. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. We did a story on it. So last night, Guntersville, with the temperature still really mild, had like all the Christmas lights on all the boats, and it looked so beautiful. And it inspired me to want to make a day down there to Guntersville today. So I'm going to do that this afternoon. Walk around City Harbor. Yeah, it's going to be wicked cold, but that's okay. Nothing stops me from going to Guntersville. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in all of North Alabama. And I can't wait to go and hang out. I'll bundle up, I promise. I'll even have a hat on and everything, like a hat. I don't usually wear a hat. Usually a baseball cap, but not a hat. But yeah, so good day for that. If you're going to Tinsel Trail, certainly the festive feel of the cold temperatures may put you in the holiday spirit, or it might make you on the naughty list with all the cuss words you might say. But yeah, I mean, big change. You know, I think a lot of times in December, to get a shot of Arctic air like this is not typical. This is a little bit colder than usual. This is more like a mid-January kind of hit. But the whole month of December has been quite chilly. We haven't had very many warm days. In fact, the warmest days we've had were the last two before this. So it's been trending chilly, but the end of the month looks really warm. And if we end up actually having the last 2 weeks be above average, what is it all going to do? Balance out. And doesn't that what feel like the weather patterns are always trying to do? They're always trying to find an equilibrium. And what you get here, you take away from here, you add here. So if the first 2 weeks of the month end up being below average like they were, because we're in the first 2 weeks as of today, we have average below average temperatures. Even though the last 2 days were warm, today we'll bring that down, right? And then if you balance it out with above average temperatures to close out the month, where do you end up in the middle? Pretty much right where you're supposed to be. It's funny how weather always works out that way. You might not have that typical climatological day that is 54 by day, 35 at night, but eventually the average will get there by the end of the month. That's just how it works. All right, I'm going to bust a move and get out of here, taking me and my hoodies with me. I'm going to go pump up that heat in the truck for my 5-minute drive home because I'm cold. Enjoy the day. If you're going to be indoors, cool. If you're going to try to venture outside, awesome. Moderating temperatures by the middle of the week and keeping an eye on Thursday, not just for severe weather, but the potential for some really heavy rainfall, especially in the afternoon and evening. And that could be a evening commute kind of issue that we'd have to worry about, as the rainfall certainly is a headache for those evening commutes. It tends to just bring everything to a gridlock, especially in the parkway where you have so much runoff with the water and the heavy rainfall. So, all right, everybody have a fantastic day. Jada should be in here tonight. And then Eric Burke will be with you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow at 4:30. The next time I'm on air is for Brad on Wednesday. And at that point, we'll be in the 50s and the cold air will be behind us. And I'll talk about the warm temperatures. And I can't wait for that. We'll see you then.